Lawyers and leadership. When think, oh yeah, you heard that one. Yeah, TV series have been created around this, and you wonder how can anyone make them do better than they do right now? We have an expert on the matter with us here today. Hello and welcome, Gary Mitchell.
Hello, Niels. Great to be here with you.
Thank you very much for taking the time. So you focus on working regarding leadership with law firms. And the first question I have is, why? Why did you? Because lawyers are notorious for focusing on what's leadership work. Well, leadership is someone brings in billable hours, and I hope they bring in as much as they can, and that is how I lead them.
Right. Okay. So it's kind of a long story, and I'm going to make it as brief
Go
as
for it.
possible, but it is interesting because, yeah, it's interesting. So I'd always been involved in politics. Everything I've ever done since I was a kid was always about people, sociology, history, politics, all that. I ran for parliament in Vancouver in 2004 and I lost, thankfully. Thankfully.
Yeah.
And in the subsequent campaign, I was called upon to help a lawyer win a nomination campaign and then go on and run the campaign for him. So I was coaching him, and he was a blank slate, double masters, geology and law. So double the intellectual brain,
Yeah.
right? No experience whatsoever, like zero. Okay, blank canvas. It was so much fun, Niels. So all of a sudden, it was an aha moment in my life, personally and professionally, where I had been the guy, and now I'm the guy behind the guy. And I loved watching the transformation,
Yeah.
right? And so one day after a campaign meeting, his friend, former lawyer who had left the industry to run a family company, he said, Gary, I've noticed what you've been doing with Canada. I won't mention his name, and how you've been able to distill like soft skills, people skills into highly intellectual people. You have a real talent for it. The legal industry really needs help with like marketing and business development.
Yeah.
And after I picked my jaw the sidewalk, right, thinking, lawyers have been around for as long as time.
Yeah.
They haven't figured that out. So I subsequently did about 9 months of research online. This is back in 2006, so 20 years ago. And I mean, there were no coaches in the Canadian market doing business coaching. There were maybe a sprinkling in the United States. I met with lawyers. I met with marketing directors. I did the online research to what was going on in the States, and clearly there was a need. So it started out with business development and marketing. Over the years, one way or the other, I started to attract more entrepreneurial type lawyers, small firm owners. So then the breadth of my mandate expanded dramatically. And then we're talking like operations, HR, leadership. And of course, nothing happens without leadership.
Yeah.
It's all leadership. So not new, but my refocus is now I'm exclusively working with small law firm owners who want to grow and also create freedom in their life. And so my fourth book is coming out, Niels, in June, and it's called The And Approach. Grow your law firm and gain more freedom. I'm very proud of it. Some people look at me like I'm from Mars. What? Grow a law firm? Freedom? Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm 80
How
hours
to
a
make it
week.
to partner without using your private life? Well, quit the industry. That's the usual answer you get. Yeah. It's just, yeah.
Well, I've got oodles and oodles and oodles of examples over the years of proof that it can be done. And so this is a manifesto, I guess, of 20 years of work, this book, and it's everything I'm focused on now. I'm focused on helping law firm owners. Now, why? I guess because I feel a sense of sadness almost. There's so much carnage in the legal industry. Like these people have put so much time and effort into their studies and then craft and continually crafting, their skill as a lawyer. And because I don't want to single out lawyers, like other professionals, they're never taught how to run a business, start a business, run a business, grow a business, manage people, systems, none of that. So on the one hand, you've got a brilliant lawyer and probably even a rainmaker, right? Who goes out, starts their own firm, hires some staff, thinks, that's going to be la-di-da, and then all hell breaks loose.
Yeah.
And of course, they're now doing $1 million. They're over $1 million in revenue. Money's coming in. That's not the issue. Business development is not the issue. It's managing the growth and taking it to the next level, while still having some semblance of a life, right? And the freedom means different things to different people. I just had a request for consultation, and in the questionnaire, I think the person used the word time 5 times,
Mm-hmm.
like more time, less admin, more time, less billable hours, more time, more time, more time, more time. So the challenge here is in the leadership thing is letting go of control.
Yeah.
That's one of the biggest issues, perfection and control. Those are the two biggest issues I work with my clients on. Slowly moving them, kind of moving the goalpost, moving the
Mm.
comfort zone, not pushing, as that never works with any human,
Yeah.
including myself.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I've had many trainers and coaches throughout my life, and it's like, you don't go from here to here
Yeah.
overnight, right? You have to, and with lawyers, you have to show proof, right? Strategy, implement, show proof.
Mm.
Strategy, implement, show proof.
So what
Like,
would you say, what leadership mistakes are the most commonly done? What are the most common leadership mistakes these people make preventing law firms from scaling successfully and having a life?
okay, one of the first mistakes is hiring the wrong people. Hiring for marks or the resume looks amazing. I've always maintained
Harvard,
that
Princeton, Yale, Stanford,
exactly,
distinction degree.
exactly, exactly, exactly. Niels, I've always believed that attitude accounts for 99% of everything. I'm serious. The older I get, the more experience I have in life and in business. It's proven over and over again. Something that's interesting. I actually read an article back maybe in my second or third year about a law firm, a top tier law firm in the US. Okay. And its hiring strategy was amazing, and it supported my belief. It skipped the top tier law schools looking at hires. It went to the second tier, and it skipped the A students. It went to B students. And here was the reasoning. Every single time they did that, they found that those students were working themselves through to pay through law school. That spoke to work ethic. It spoke to discipline. It spoke to attitude, right? They hired them on. They're going to do whatever it takes. Whereas Yale, Princeton, Harvard, they're entitled. They got the top marks at
Well,
the top
especially when
law
you, of
school.
course, these are excellent universities. Still, of course, there are
Of
lots of people
course,
who are privileged, who grow up in a rich
of
family and say,
course.
I
I'm
didn't
not
have to
putting
work
down the
beside, all the money's
universities.
just there, and
Yeah.
now please open the door to my amazing six-figure job.
Well, it's an experience. I'm not even putting down those individuals. They were given this,
Yeah.
right? Like I'm not judging. We are a product of our environment, our upbringing, and our experience. Okay. So when you look at one person and their attitude and another person and their attitude, it's not like one person's better than the other.
Mm.
Who am I to judge, right? I'm just talking about how does that transpire. So hiring the right people. The second mistake they make is not properly getting them set up, onboarding them, training them. The third mistake is improper delegation. And this is because, the lawyer has done this task a million times, and in their brain, it's like A to Z, right?
Yeah.
Right. And they've got 2 million things in the air juggling, right? So they go to their young associate and they hand it over, and the associate's lucky if they get a few words of instruction, right? This like deer in the headlights associate is like, oh my God. They're afraid to go and ask for help. They're afraid if they get stuck. So all kinds of problems pile up along this road. So I teach them how to, first of all, the better they get at hiring, the less they're going to have to manage people, because these people don't need to be babysat. The ones
Mm.
with good work ethic and discipline, they have it. They have the work ethic, they have the discipline. And if they get stuck, they're going to figure it out or find out where they can learn
Yeah.
how to, right? They're going to figure it out. They're going to do whatever it takes. So that's the number one thing. The other thing I teach them is to build from strength. So let me give you 2 examples. A lawyer in Toronto, he's Mr. Entrepreneur. He could leave the legal side tomorrow. Okay.
Hmm.
He wants to grow, right? He's got some natural born skills too in that area, right? He's entrepreneurial. He's got an entrepreneurial bent. So he definitely could leave the legal side. The opposite of that is a client in Vancouver who loves to advocate for his clients. I mean, he is happiest when he's in the courtroom,
Hmm.
defending or on the other side for his clients. And he wants nothing to do with the day-to-day management of the
Ah,
firm,
okay.
but he wants to grow the firm because he sees the opportunity. So we have to build different models. But the approach is the same. We build around their strength. Okay. So we build management team partnership, whatever it is, or a combination of both. And we're not duplicating the owner or the founder. We're looking for complementary skills. I always bring up one of my favorite quotes from Steve Jobs. We don't hire smart people so we tell them what to do. We hire smart people so they tell us what to do. So
Hmm.
that's the encouragement I give them is, yeah, you're a smart guy or smart woman. You're a smart professional. Now let's find some other smart people with complementary skills who can fill out the puzzle, right?
Mm.
And to me, this stuff comes naturally. It's not rocket science. It's not like that difficult, but these guys struggle with it so much. Like HR is one of the, I mean, they don't like marketing, but I think they hate HR even more, right? And
And
let's
that is
face
my
it,
next question, because when you say you want to grow a law firm and you want to have a
uh,
life besides all of that, as soon as you drop the term HR, people go like, okay, here we go. That's another big issue. When you look at
uh-huh.
HR, how do you deal with all of that without running either legal risks or not getting the best talent or doing errors which are costly? So how can you deal with HR issues as well while growing your law firm sustainably and still having a life?
Okay. Well, first of all, there is no perfect. Let me start with that.
That is
And
something which some lawyers will not accept, but hopefully they see it in the
well,
in the
Niels,
long run.
I'll be perfectly frank to your viewers. I'm a recovering perfectionist myself.
Yeah,
Like, and one thing that helped was writing books because you have to let it go,
yeah.
right?
It's
I've
never
read
perfect. You always think you
there's
could do one more and this bit
that's
and that.
right.
That's just
There's
one
a
point. Just get it out.
there's a very famous book, although not written for lawyers, that every lawyer should read, and it's called The Artist's Way. And it talks about this. I think it's 30 years old now, 35 years old. It talks about how this is very common among artists as well, songwriters, right? They're writing something, right? They always go back. It's like one little, like that one note or that one cadence or one bridge or whatever. And it's like nothing will ever be perfect. Let's shoot for excellence. Let's always shoot for excellence. Absolutely. But there will never be perfect. These systems and processes that I've helped develop for law firms, for strategy, for hiring,
Hmm.
onboarding, ongoing training, I'm not going to ever profess you're going to get to a perfect, but it's going to take you up quite a few notches. And of course, you're never going to be able to grow unless you have a team because you have to let them do the work. So again, I go back to the control, right? You got to, when you get the right people, you're setting yourself up for success. There's many more steps along the way, clearly, right?
Hmm.
But when you get the right people, you don't have to micromanage them. You don't have to, you don't even have to have FaceTime. You can be on the mountain, climbing a
Hmm.
mountain or on the beach with your spouse, traveling one of the UNESCO sites in the world, whatever gets you going, right? And your law firm is churning like a well-oiled machine. And there's steps. I didn't say this is easy. I just don't find it difficult. I find it like this, the approach is simple. The execution is where, right? I've always also believed that the most challenging part of your business is your people by
Hmm.
far. Technology, we're always learning, right? We may scoff at it when it first comes out, but we adapt, we learn, right? I know some people in their 80s that can text way quicker than I can,
Yeah,
right? Like
yeah,
it's
absolutely.
it's it's not technology, it's the people part of the business. And I mean, what is a law firm without the people, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. When we now look into the future of law firms, to wrap this interview up, when we focus on, let's say, the biggest strategic opportunities that law firms have, in your opinion, in the next decade, from regarding leadership, talent management, business growth, but also in the context of AI, that is now, of course, coming more and more into the legal industry as well. What, in your opinion, are the biggest strategic opportunities that they face in the future?
Well, it's always going to be HR for sure. It's always going to be people, right? And I want to use COVID as an example. COVID taught people how to work from home, right?
Hmm.
Companies, and I'm talking on a broad level. I've been working from home, by the way, since 2006. So
There you
this
are.
was not new. Was not new to me. I love it. I can't imagine going into an office and being constrained by that system. Anyway, so after a couple of years of self training you have these owners of businesses demanding FaceTime again, demanding people back in the office. And I'm shaking my head. What are you thinking? These people have designed their systems, their discipline, their work at home schedule, sometimes balancing caregiving of children, caregiving of elders, their parents. I mean, there's a whole gamut, right? Um, why would you then demand them to come back into the office, paying for overhead that you don't need to, when they're actually more productive and happy happier at home. Because see, retention's always going to be one of the top challenges.
Yeah.
Now, AI, I'm not an expert, but I will say this. The first thing they need to do is stop saying, oh my God, no, I'm so afraid of this. No, you need to learn how you
Totally
can
agree.
incorporate. You need to learn how you can incorporate it into your practice. I heard this somewhere. I've heard it both for coaches too. The AI will not replace lawyers, but it will replace lawyers who don't use AI. And
Absolutely.
I've heard the same thing about coaches,
Yes.
right? AI will not replace me, but if I don't adopt and bring AI into my practice, which I have done, then I will be replaced.
Definitely.
Right. So, I mean, again, that's a whole other episode, and 2 and 3 and 10 on AI, right? But the bottom line is, don't fear technology, embrace it, learn it, understand it, and see how you can adapt it, and what policies you can, or what procedures and approaches you can take from AI to make the smoother running of your law firm. And yes, there's going to be disruption. We're going to see some of the lower level, like law clerks, paralegals. We're going to see less and less of those, obviously. I do not see lawyers being replaced by AI. I do see lower level legal assistants, things like that. Eventually, in the next couple of years,
there might be an exposure to AI there where there might be significant change.
Yeah,
absolutely.
that's right.
Yeah.
But lawyers are pretty safe as long as they know what's going on and they don't fear it, and they look to embrace it. The other thing, the most important thing, I was watching something the other day. I can't remember what it was, and they're saying, "Well, how do you manage this?" And the person says, we have to be nimble. And I'm like, I've been saying that for over 10 years. We absolutely, all of us, not just lawyers, we have to be nimble. Things are changing at such a rapid pace. Now that's for some reason, I don't know. I'll maybe go and see a therapist and find out where it came from, but I don't mind change. I get bored actually when things are stagnant. I don't mind having to be on my toes and look around the corner and go, what's coming next, right? What's in front of me, what's behind me, what's beside me. Lawyers tend to be, very controlling in their box. I mean, when you look at the traits of lawyers, and it's exactly the reason we hire them. They're analytical, they're critical, very, very critical. Perfectionists, we want a form of that, right? We want attention to detail. But all of those things that make them an amazing lawyer hold them back from growing in a business. And so those are the traits that I focus on, right? I always make a joke. The left brain has been, binging Netflix on the couch. And the left brain has had Olympic level training, and the right brain has been binging Netflix on the couch. And it's like, I like to use analogies. I get their ass off the couch and I get them into training with the right brain functions. And we all have them. Have them, but they've not been shown that path, right? Now, the exciting thing, Niels, yes, as frustrating as lawyers can be to work with, and I will admit, because they are stubborn, they always know the answer.
They always know the answer. They always know better. They've seen it all. They've done it all, and they know it all how to do it.
But when I come across that open one, who's willing to listen and willing to follow, like the very first candidate, my first client, then they learn very, very quickly, and they can improve and implement and innovate. Like, you can see the growth in them very, very quickly. That's the exciting part that keeps me motivated. With all the challenge. So go ahead.
Yeah. And I think that's a very good segue to my final question. When people now say, I am that one, I am the one who wants to learn, I am the one who wants to change something, grow my firm and still have a life, the question is, how can they get in touch with you?
Gary, 1R, at ontrackcoach.com. No K in on track, on purpose for branding. Gary at ontrackcoach.com. Let's have a chat. Let's talk about where you're at now, what's holding you back. I know what's holding you back. You know what's holding you back. So let's talk about it and how we can get over it, move through it, and help you get to where you want to be. I mean, it's up to you. I don't tell people what their dreams or what their freedom or what their life should be. I help them get to where they want to. That's my job.
Perfect. I think these are the perfect final words. So when you have a law firm and you think, I'd like to grow my business and still have a life, Gary is the person to talk to. So Gary Mitchell, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Niels.